Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Resilient with your host, me, WinterTooth100. And in today's episode, today we are going to talk about a few things that we're going to be working on here on the server. We also have a little clip I need to show you before we get too far ahead of ourselves. But before we do that, go ahead, go down to the comments below, leave some ideas down there, things you would like to see me build or do here on the server. Episode 50 is just right around the corner. This is 48, and for episode 50 I want to do something kind of special, and I kind of want to get some opinions and some ideas from my community out there. So go ahead, let me know down there below in the comments, and I will be sure to take a look at that and make sure that episode 50 is as neat as it can be. Hopefully that's what we're hoping for, otherwise it might just be a normal episode, and that's not what we want. That's not what we want at all. Alright, so let's roll this little clip. It's a little silent clip, but let's roll it real quick. You did not misread that. You read that correctly. Joe Mama 1973 has been doing a lot of stuff. Let's just put it that way. He's been very busy, and he is very big on his scavenger hunts and loot crates and geocaching at the moment. Some of the rewards are going to be pretty insane like that, except for those picks. These picks are meant to generate some cash, some diamonds for the exchange shop. So when we have things like amethysts and rubies that are worth so many diamonds, and you can't quite spend them all in one place, well, there'll be diamonds available for you to exchange for. And where do those diamonds come from? The players are buying these awesome picks. The reason I bought this is not for the Fortune 4. In fact, it could have not had Fortune on it at all. The fact that it's efficiency 5 and cannot break. That is my biggest bane when we go mining, is I constantly have to stop and go repair my picks. Even though they have Unbreaking 3 and Mending on them, it feels like I'm non-stop back and forth between the XP place and actually mining. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go do a true 1 or 2 hour mining session with a pick that just will never quit. So let me go do that, and I will see you guys right back over in our map. Alright, we're back from our mining session. It was pretty successful, I must say. I intentionally didn't keep anything except for diamonds and andesite and a couple stacks of cobblestone because it just happened to be with me at the end. But we went from having 1 block of diamond and 1 diamond to 28 blocks of diamond and 3 diamonds. Because of Toothpick 2.0. The fact that it doesn't ever break, and that Fortune 4 is actually quite strong sometimes. A lot of times I get 1 or 2 diamonds and it's like, okay, cool. But sometimes it drops like 5 or 6 and I'm like, oh my goodness. Actually, I don't think it drops 6. I think the most I've seen it drop is 5. But 5 compared to the max 4 that you could typically get. And I think something about it makes it so that the diamond ore is more likely to drop 2 or more instead of 1. Like, there's no way that, like, 1 came up a few times, but not a lot. And oh boy, compared to my typical mining sessions, like, that is a real killing right there. The only thing I wish that pick had is I would like to see it an unbreaking version with Silk Touch instead of Fortune, because I use Soft Claw more than anything for my building projects, in case something has a, like I work with stone sometimes, smooth stone. So last thing I want to do, like right here, smooth stone. Last thing I want to do is like think, oh, I made a mistake, let me remove it, and then it come up as cobblestone. Like, so that's why I use soft cloth, because anything that needs to be silk touched will be silk touched. And yeah, so there's a couple things I want to talk about in today's episode. We need to head back over to where the forest temple's going to be, and we should sleep first. And while we're sleeping, let's see if I can't get this bed to trap us again. Nope, this one didn't trap us. It might have been that one. One of the beds caught me in the hole, so we're going to have to go through for each of these and also put something in here to make it impossible for the player to be slotted in there. I'm thinking another chest in each of those. But the thing I really want to talk about in today's episode... Oh, let's turn my render distance up so we can see everything. 1.14 and 1.15, but 1.14 especially. It could be 1.15. We all know how Mojang sometimes doesn't do things exactly as they say they're going to. But I don't know if you guys have seen or not. They told us there's going to be new slabs and stairs and possibly blocks in general. We want those. We want those really bad. I have been sitting here all morning mining, thinking to myself, do I really want to start this next project? How long am I willing to wait for new blocks before we're willing to, you know, how long do we have to wait that we're not going to be working on any of our projects to get those slabs and stairs? If we get those slabs and stairs, are they going to be worth it for that wait? What do these slabs and stairs look like? Are they going to inform my decision of what we could be building the temple out of? Like these are important questions. If they make a let's say grass, just because it's, you know, it's in front of us. If they make grass have slabs and stairs, then what if I want to build a really detailed courtyard now because of that? Well, I won't know to include a courtyard because I don't know what kinds of slabs and stairs we're gonna get. That's what I'm talking about. That's my biggest gripe with 1.14 is we know it's coming this year. Less than 2 months of wait time. Almost 2 months. I'm recording this on the 9th of October. They promised us we'd get 1.14 before this year's out. And by the sounds of it, we're going to get those slabs and stairs with 1.14 and not with the Village and Pillage, which I believe is the 1.15 update. Which we also get that early next year. But if we're going to have slabs and stairs, 40 new slabs and stairs. I don't know if that's like 20 slabs and 20 stairs, or if they truly mean 40 of each. Like, I don't know if I want to build without that new stuff, or at the very least without knowing which blocks are going to get it. I mean, 40 is a lot. Like we can pretty much guess almost every block is going to get a slab and stairs, with the exception of probably all of the dirt grass blocks and leaf blocks. I don't think those guys are going to get slabs and stairs. But like wood already has slabs and stairs. I wonder if we're going to get... Ooh, what if we get the full bark stairs and slabs? That'd be really cool. What else could we get? I know we got the andesite, granite, and diorite. Like those are definitely going to get slabs and stairs in their polished versions. I mean, that's 6 of them right there. And if they're counting 40 as a whole, then that's really 12 because we got 6 slabs and 6 stairs. So what all blocks are going to get it? I don't know. And so at the very least, I think we're going to try to commit to building in such a way that if whatever we're building with does include stairs and slabs, that we can just add them in and it'll look even better, but without them it still looks good. That could be tricky. That could be really tricky. But let me fly on over there. We're about to come up across this huge chasm, and so we're gonna have to fly over it anyway. And I think we're gonna start plotting out where things are roughly gonna go. And yeah, I'll see you guys there in just a moment. And just like that, we're on the other side of the giant chasm. In case you guys are curious, that's exactly what I meant. Giant chasm. It spans a very long ways, like two rockets, and being way up in the sky to get from one end to the other. But we've built a little workstation, temporary workstation, like what we did with Snow Temple. Got all of our shulker boxes pulled out of here that we're using and slotted in here. We may or may not use prismarine, but I figure we probably won't, so I left them in the box. I think what we're gonna do for the rest of today's episode is see how disorganized I am by immediately nailing which box I was looking for. Oh, that's perfect. And we're gonna do the same thing we did with Kakariko Village, and we're going to plot out where walls are gonna go, where pathways are gonna go, and possibly where buildings, or in this case towers, are gonna go. I know that we want to do kind of big wall right here spanning from one end to the other, so you must go in through the front of it and you can't sneak in through the sides. If you remember, we have barrier blocks, and these puppies, they go up like 20 blocks in height, so they're quite tall. But we want to, not in today's episode, but because I really want to, I need to plot things out before I build them. That way I can do my best to make sure we have all of our dimensions correct, because that's the biggest problem I have with building, is if you start building and something's dimensions wrong, then I tend to have to destroy what I built more times than I would if I plotted out first. We do want some kind of wall in the front, and we want to be able to go through it, and we want this front bit to, I'm imagining Ocarina of Time when you're going to the forest temple. There's that little maze. It's not really a maze, but it's kind of a maze in that it's not a straight path and it makes you zigzag, and there's multiple ways you can go. But what I really like about it is the idea that we can fill it with, like, have one way be a dead end. Okay, easy. Have another way, have a trap. Okay, cool. Like, it dispensers shoot arrows at you. Like, it's challenging to go that way. Another path maybe is just easy. Like, it's the one path where there's no problems and you get through it. But several other paths have like mob spawners, so it's just filled with dangerous things. Starting from roughly right in that front bit, I'm thinking we come forward and find the next division. The grand division, that's where we want to have these big towers. And unfortunately, I think this tree and that tree are gonna have to come down so they don't compete for the view of the big statues that we talked about 2 episodes ago. I want to leave this big tree though, because I do really like the idea that when you first come into this place, that you can kind of see the statues, that they're in the fog. And let's see, you'd have to be very close to the edge to see them, because I imagine this wall here will cut across right here, so that we'll barely get to see them along the top. And as you get closer, of course, that wall dominates your vision and you can't see them anymore. And then when you come through here and it's got those zigzagging pathways because of walls, you won't really see them again. And the tree helps to cover them up. That way, by the time you reach the entrance point with the statues, it'll be a big reveal. So I really like the idea of that. So we got a wall here, right? And the entrance is right here. So finally we found the exit. As soon as you come through here, the first thing you see, 2 big statues greeting you into the inner sanctum where the temple itself is at. So let me map out kind of where all the pathways are going to be, and then we can talk about things that I've designed for it. And there goes my phone. Alright, I'll be back in just a moment. Well, I did it again. You guys know how I tend to start a project and then just get carried away with it. Well, it may not look like it from this particular angle, but oh my goodness. Yeah, can you get a feel for it now? Oh, I have done some work. I accidentally made a maze. I did not mean to make a maze, but somehow I've managed to make a maze. So if we just ignore the fact that we could actually hop up over these, this basically wraps you around in circles over and over again until you finally figure out how to get there. Oh, of course it's nighttime. These slabs here represent where walls are going to be, so wherever these cobblestones just reach and just cut off like this, it's because they're going to be connected up to these outer walls, so we won't be able to see this dirt thing around us. Let me sleep real quick. So we're going to pillar up a couple of times in a couple different places. Let's pick right here. So you can kind of see where I have been making this maze. Originally I was just doing random shapes, and I started with just a zigzaggy path that I connected up, and I was thinking, well, we'll just build walls with it. And then I decided that that probably would just lead us to a bunch of problems of trying to get things to line up and work out and look nice. So I scrapped it, tore that all out, and then we replaced a particular kind of pattern. We built these straight walls, and they got 3 block gaps everywhere that I could manage it. And all of the walls have a 1 block gap in them whenever they're going straight like this, or sometimes they got big gaps in them, and that's just because there's just a solid chunk of division. And so everywhere that's going to be a wall or an inaccessible area is also filled in with grass to the same level as the cobblestone, so the dip down bit is where your feet can be. Everywhere else is going to be off and out of the way. There is the possibility, I am trying to figure out how we're going to do this, but based on the item in the temple, I can think of a few ways to give players access to the tops of these things. So some of these can be taller than others, and then the ones that are shorter, we can use that as like a kind of like a secondary, or I guess third type of puzzle, but not one that's necessary. So it's more like a reward puzzle where you first show up here. The first puzzle is obviously figuring out the maze. You see these right here, these are going to represent redstone doors that are sealed. So it's not just trying to solve the maze, it's you have to, oh, I came across what would be the right path, right? One of these 3, and it's locked. So you actually have to keep going through the maze, and then maybe right here we put the switch. You flip the switch and you come back, and that's opened this door, and then there flips a switch which opens this door, which, that way we can do like it's a puzzle maze. You can't just walk through it, you have to actually find the keys, the switches to open the doors, and then we can get through there. Then of course the second puzzle is the temple itself. That'll be filled with its own sub-puzzles and the boss, and you get the item and all that fun stuff. But when you're done with that, you come back out and you can use that temple item now to hopefully be able to get on top of some of these walls and find chests that, if we're lucky, we're going to say, for example, you're walking down this corridor right here, and you can see on top of this wall there's a chest, and you just can't reach it. Eventually you give up on it and you move on. But as soon as you get those items, you realize how it works, and that it maybe correlates with something over here, and you can be like, oh my goodness, I can get that chest now. And that's kind of what I want. I want that to be kind of a third puzzle, but it's just kind of like a reward puzzle where you can just come back and get things that you couldn't reach before. But yep, that's kind of what we're working on. Let's move to a new location and try to get a better look at it. Okay, we got kind of a better look here. That's where you start from and you end up over there. And that one's also going to have like a 3-door system. So you know you're going to have to find 3 switches or something. I'm not sure. Like, I don't always want to make them switches because that seems easy enough. Like, you can just accidentally stumble upon a switch and know what to do. So I like the idea of also creating a couple of quote-unquote keys for these doors that aren't necessarily switches you flip, but they might be something that you come to this door and you realize maybe we could put like a sign on one of the doors, or we can put in an item frame out of the player's reach so they can't grab the item. Some kind of hint, or something along those lines, so they'll know that when they go find whatever that quote-unquote key is, they'll know what to do with it, which will open the door, which I think would be kind of neat. And since we have 3 doors in a row, we can actually hide the 2 of the hints behind each of the doors, so you can't preemptively find a switch and know exactly what to do with it. You might get lucky. It's possible to get lucky with it. Through there, I've marked out roughly, obviously those are not going to be the sizes, but roughly where the statues are going to stand. They'll probably be much larger and probably head back in that direction more. Kind of like that shape. And then the same for the other side. Do 2 big statues. Still nervous about those. I guess the only thing left to talk about is the quartz oval or circle, whatever it is in the center here. I thought it might have been neat to include something possibly in here. I'm not sure what. Maybe it pertains to solving some of the puzzles. Maybe it's got something that helps you later in the temple. I'm not sure yet. I haven't figured that out. But there is one entrance to it, and it's on the other side, and it's marked by a doorway just like that right now. And everything else that these show is going to be a wall. It's an inner wall, and it's the only one that's not technically in a kind of straight line or a diagonal straight line, because it can be like a big oval or a circle. And so when you see this right here, this is actually a walkable path, and you can walk along the outside of this via reaching this point, but nowhere along this path can you actually get on the inside of it. I think that's going to be it for today's episode, guys. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the dimensions for this thing. It actually took quite a long time, but I think that's going to be it for today's episode. So leave a like if you like, subscribe if you haven't, share with your friends, hit that notification bell, say something about bears in the description below so I know that you made it to the end. Brown bear specifically, and I will see you guys in the next one.